Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about Pixar. Oh, no, sorry, Ahmed, no. I'm talking about Pixar, not Pixar. Sorry, not the land of Pixar. Sorry, we'll talk about Twisted another time, I promise. Today we're talking about Pixar, though. And we're going to be going through all 29 movies. So I've done plenty of ranking videos in the past. I've done ranking the Shrek villains, I've ranked the Shrek films, I've ranked Has Been Hotel Season 1 and Season 2 songs. And the one thing that's really evaded me is my ranking of Pixar films. Now, I love the idea of going through every studio I possibly can and looking through all of DreamWorks and Pixar and Disney and Blue Sky and Sony and Illumination and all of them, and just seeing how their catalog stacks up against itself. And I've never done one quite like this before, where I had to rank films that didn't really all connect. Except I guess in this one there's a theory that they all connect, the Pixar theory. But we're not going to be talking about that today because that's a whole other thing. So we're going to be going through all 29 films. I have recently watched all 29 Pixar films, and I have endured the greatest of greats and the shittiest of shit. We're starting off pretty bad because we're going from 29th place to first place, so worst to best. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I don't want to fill you up with too much filler before the main course. You know, I don't want to fill you up with too much talking before the actual video, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Like and subscribe and all that. Let me know what you think of the rankings. I definitely want to know what you think of it, because my rankings are not set in stone to where it's like, oh, I am the one who decides if a movie is good or bad. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to rank them in terms of storytelling based on the way that I see it. Someone else may see it differently. All I'll say is I would love for you guys to rank these films in the comments or in a video or whatever it may be, and just let me know what your ranking is, because I would love to see it no matter what it is. You know, it could be completely opposite of mine and I still would love to see it. So, you know, like and subscribe and all that. Let's talk about some Pixar movies. However, we gotta start at the bottom of the barrel. And if you've seen this movie, you know which one I'm talking about. In last place, we've got... What do I even say? I mean, what do I even say about this? It's Cars 2. It's Cars 2. This is the bad Pixar movie. This is the Pixar movie that made them like fall off their high horse. I don't know what they were thinking. Okay. All right, let's start off with the good things. Moving on? No. Okay, I'll say this. Okay, so when you look at a film series like, say, Toy Story, for example, something that is only relatable to toys that couldn't really be replicated by humans. Toys getting lost from their owners, trying to make their way back, or rescuing other toys and bringing them back to the owners, going to multiple different places like a toy store, a daycare, a neighbor's house. It could apply in any different situation. There's a lot of different scenarios that could be done with that. Similarly, you have something like A Bug's Life, where it's something that's very bug-centric, where it's only applicable to insects, to where you couldn't really replicate the exact same story with humans. Cars, however, can definitely be replicated by humans. You want to know how? All three Cars movies could just be people driving cars. That's it. The only thing about this that's like even remotely Cars related is like the world itself, even though it's suspiciously human. I don't like getting into all the philosophical, automical car questions or whatever, because I would like to think I'm beyond that. But this is supposed to be part of the good part, right? This is supposed to be one of the good things, one of the pros of the movie. It is. Because the first movie, racing. Third movie, racing. Second movie, spy. First I was like, what the hell? That doesn't even follow the right format. This doesn't make sense. Then I'm just like, you know what? Why the hell not? Why not do a spy parody? I mean, like, what else do they have besides like racing? That's all you could think of to make this type of movie exciting. I mean, I get why they did something different with a spin-off spy movie where Mater is the main character. Mater was likable enough and grounded in the first film as a character. So they thought, let's make him the main character of this film, and we saw what happened there. And that's where the cons come in, where the negatives come in. Mater does not belong in a feature-length film as a main character. He does not. He was good in Mater's Tall Tales because that's exactly the amount of Mater that we needed. The Cars Tales, or whatever they're called, the Mater's Tall Tales, Mater and the Ghost Light, those little short films, not even really short films, just shorts, those were perfectly fine and serviceable amounts of Mater. But when you have an entire, however long the movie was, full of Mater, it gets annoying, it gets repetitive, it gets honestly infuriating, and it's just like, they also diminished Lightning McQueen's character from the first movie to where he's like now kind of a dick again. And you're telling me he's never gone to another race since McQueen won the Piston Cup against, well, not won the Piston Cup, but since he raced Chick Hicks and the King? You're telling me that's the last time he went to a race? His best friend? Bullshit. And don't even get me started on the stupid ass car spies, whatever their names are. The blue one and the purple one. The first one I think is called like Finn McMissile? Is that it? Let me look it up. Finn McMissile and Holly Shiftwell. Are you kidding me? Holly Shiftwell. I'm really glad I don't have to talk about this movie ever again after this, or at least I hope not. Jesus Christ. So, these guys are supposed to be like intelligent spy cars, these two. Yet they constantly think that Mater, I said constantly, weird, they're like I'm a German, constantly. Where they constantly mistake Mater as a spy. When he tells them multiple times, I'm not a spy, I'm not a spy. Get her done. I'm Larry the Cable Guy, I'm not a spy. And they keep insisting, yes, this is the spy, yes, this is a spy. They would think of freaking, what was it? The thing, what was that green stuff that Mater was eating in this film? Was it like wasabi or something? They would have, I'm surprised they didn't mistake that for a spy, because that's the level of intelligence these two cars are working with here. And the worst part is they had, like, the blue one, Finn, he had an amazing first scene, honestly, in terms of, like, you know, getting away from the bad guys and stuff. It was a great way to get into the spy thing. But then we get introduced to Mater and the racing, and I'll say Francesco Bernoulli is very fun, but I don't know who the other ones are. I literally only know Miles Axelrod, because I wrote it down here. Mater figuring out that Miles Axelrod is the twist villain behind everything is kind of fine. At least it clicks together a little bit. You know, Mater has a brief moment of competence, but like, Miles Axelrod has the dumbest plan ever of like, I'm going to create an alternative fuel called All in All that's better for cars. Then I'm going to make it dangerous because I actually own regular oil and I want people to start using that oil even though they already kind of were using oil. So, you see why this is in last place, right? There's no emotional core. The tone is just completely whiplash between like international espionage and wacky Mater hijinks. So yeah, this totally goes at the bottom. I mean, look, one decent little reveal at the end and one decent villain race car who's actually kind of funny, and one decent opening scene to the film can't save a movie that completely misunderstands the very few likable qualities of the original Cars film. And also the cars that were introduced in this film, like Finn McMissile and Holly Shiftwell or whatever, they did not appear in Cars 3, which tells you how useful they were as a part of the Cars franchise. Why am I still talking about Cars? Let's move on.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Peter. Let's talk about Lightyear. What happened again? I mean, I remember they copied Interstellar, like the emotional core of Interstellar. Buzz is played by Chris Evans, so Captain America Buzz Lightyear is now a thing. I wonder if that's been made into any type of art. this conversation that I'm having with myself is more interesting than the actual movie itself. I mean, look, it's not the worst. It's watchable. It's fine. But I might have placed it a little bit lower than I should have, but I don't know. To start out with the pros and the good things, it's got a good sci-fi element, you know? It's got good concepts of sci-fi, and it's willing to explore themes of, like, you know, regret and isolation and time, you know, and having to deal with time travel, which I'm not gonna lie to you. My girlfriend walked in while I was finishing up the movie from wherever she was, and she was asking, like, why there were 2 Buzz Lightyears. And I said, well, one is a future Buzz that went to the past and completed his mission, but they were unhappy with him, so he went to the future and found a bunch of alien technology, and now he's somehow back in the past so he can stop New Buzz, but then he tries to team up with New Buzz so he can fix the mistake that nobody's really upset about. And I need a Tylenol. Look, emotionally, this film is hollow as hell. It's got the nostalgia, I guess. It literally starts with Buzz saying the exact same first words that he says in Toy Story, of there doesn't seem to be any intelligent life anywhere, or whatever. And I'm just like, wow, subtlety, what's that? It's got familiar ideas without Pixar's usual depth. And the big thing is, Buzz failed his mission to get them back to their home planet, which I'm assuming was Earth. And they're stranded on this one place. He goes and does like a lap around the planet or something, and just to see if this like spaceship works, to see if he can go and fix it or whatever. He comes back and it's like, what is it, like 4 years later or something like that, and he keeps going around and around, keeps trying to fix it. And by the time that he stops going around and around, everybody's kind of okay with being stranded on that place and just being like, yeah, we're cool with it. I mean, some people in there were born on that planet and have been living their lives on that planet. That's all they know. Why would you take that away from them? Anyway, Buzz starts off with this lady who I can't remember her name, but she's like technically, I think, his superior, and or maybe like commander, I don't know. They work together, and they're the same age, but since Buzz keeps doing laps around the planet or whatever, trying to get the spaceship to work, everybody gets older, including her. She ends up getting married to a woman, which I know definitely pissed off some idiots, so that's fun. She gets older, and whenever Buzz comes back, he watches a hologram she left for him that says like, hey, I'm not going to be able to see you come back for the next time, and she passes away, which, I mean, I'll admit, it's a good scene, it's well done, but I mean, that's really just because it's Interstellar. That's literally Interstellar. So I don't know, man. This is just, everything around this film is just derivative and underdeveloped, and they didn't get Tim Allen to voice Buzz, which just feels wrong. And yeah, by the way, Zurg is Buzz. Zurg is a future Buzz Lightyear. That's it. I'm just gonna let you figure that one out on your own. Watch the film and see if you can guess, because I have no idea.
Alright, you cluckers!
This one. Fittingly, this one kind of felt like what they were doing the entire film, which is walking. The Good Dinosaur. What the I probably should have put this lower, honestly, because this is one of the most boring films I've ever watched. Oh my god, the only good thing about it was the Sam Elliott T-Rex dinosaur. He was lovable because it's Sam Elliott. Everybody loves Sam Elliott. That guy could narrate my life with Morgan Freeman and I could die a happy man. So, it's centered around this dinosaur boy, this cowardly dinosaur boy who's, named... was it Aaron or something? It's some A name. Arlo. Okay, it's Arlo. Okay. And there's a human boy that was also marketed, and it was, what's his name? Spot. Okay, so Arlo and Spot are the main characters of this. Arlo lost his dad in a flood. Spot lost his parents, or so he thinks, to something, and they're both on their own, and Spot is the reason that Arlo's dad kind of died in a way, but it was also kind of Arlo's fault, and it was just them getting closer together throughout the journey. Basically, it's kind of Brother Bear, honestly. In a way, it's a little bit like Brother Bear, which is not a compliment because Brother Bear sucked. The environments and the animation, especially the dinosaur animation, very well done. I won't knock them for that. Their animation was very good, and I mean the story was definitely told visually, and that's what you want out of a Pixar movie, especially about dinosaurs. Oh yeah, basically the plot is that the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs actually missed the Earth, and dinosaurs and humans had to live at the same time and had to keep living, and farm and vegetation basically made it to where dinosaurs had their own homes. The humans were still like cavemen. It's weird. It's a good concept, but it was just done terribly, poorly executed. I will say though, there is one scene that I definitely do like, and it's the scene where there's very minimal dialogue, but there's a lot of empathy with it. It's the scene where Arlo and Spot communicate their family losses through like little sticks in the sand, and like demonstrating like what happened to them and why they're away from where they are. I thought that was kind of powerful, and I thought that was a good way to discuss what happened to them whenever they couldn't actually communicate, since Spot is basically a dog for some reason. Like they have Spot act like a dog and Arlo act like a human, even though Arlo's a dinosaur, Spot is a human. Spot's a dog name too, what the hell? Look, this scene is fine, but the movie sucks, okay? Look, one beautiful scene does not make a cohesive narrative. It doesn't make a good movie. So yeah, I'm sorry, but The Good Dinosaur is just... It was just a pain in the ass to get through. It was so annoying.
Me your lumry give me a moose nearly you're gurning away a teardrop in his eye. Hey, she back, wee lassie? Uh-huh. What did she just say?
This one was interesting. I really liked Brave as a kid. I really did. And I still kind of like it now. But, okay, let me start with the good things. It's got strong visual identity. The animation is great. Haggis, I think is his name, the father guy with the one leg. He is hilarious. I love him. He is basically like Gobber from How to Train Your Dragon, but for Pixar. I love him. Merida's kind of a compelling protagonist. She's a bit annoying sometimes, and she's like, I don't know. I mean, I do love the Scottish accent. If you had the chance to change your fate. I don't know. I love Scottish culture. The tone of this film doesn't make sense to me. It's like this very like semi-serious emotional journey about a daughter and her mother who's actually now a bear, which is kind of copying Brother Bear, which again, not a compliment. It's about like Merida's independence and her connection to her mother, trying to understand Merida's side. But at the same time, they also show a bunch of Scottish asses for some reason. Or, sorry, Scottish arses. They show a lot of arses. Yeah, they do. The themes are kind of muddled in this. Like, the story loses focus halfway through, honestly. And this is, honestly, the faults of the production. This was a very, very troubled production. It was notably troubled how much misfortune this production had to go through. So Brenda Chapman was working on this film. She was working on Brave. She happened to work on another animated film that it's kind of a DreamWorks film, but it's also, I don't know if you've ever even heard of it. It's called The Frickin' Prince of Egypt. Yeah, Brenda Chapman from The Prince of Egypt, a director from that film, one of the greatest animated films of all time. They fired her for some reason because she didn't go along with Disney's corporate whatever. And then they put some random white guy in. What was his name? Mark Andrews. This guy had the audacity to say, this is not a gendered story. Yes, the hell it is, you idiot. It's a story about a Scottish girl who's technically a princess to a kingdom who does not want to get married. Hey, what part of that doesn't scream gendered story? Because it is. God, Mark Andrews is an idiot, and he should never direct a film again. Clearly. There is one scene in this that I find extremely powerful. And it's the archery competition where 3 suitors from different rival clans go to compete for Merida's hand in marriage. And she gets to pick what it is. And she picks her favorite thing of archery. And the really strong guy misses the target. The really big dude misses the target as well. And then the little wee, like, small guy, the really, the small, nerdy-looking dude, accidentally gets a bullseye. And they're like, oh, well, I guess he's gonna be your suitor. And Merida's like, hell no, that's not happening. She goes out there with her bow and arrow. She hits the first one, bullseye. Second one, bullseye. Third one, bullseye through the arrow that's already in the bullseye. It is a beautiful scene and very well done and powerful. And it just really showcases her independence as a character and as a feminine character at that. This does not save the movie, unfortunately. This does establish her skills, her defiance, and confidence without dialogue, which I really, really like. And it's a perfect character-defining moment that's definitely a classic Disney moment. But despite the fantastic setup from the beginning all the way to this point, the follow-through is just weaker. The film is just weaker. We didn't really get a whole lot of backstory on the villain bear, Mordu. I feel like there was just so much more they could have done with this film. This film could have been amazing, but instead they just made a mediocre film. And that sucks, man, because this could have been good. Merida could have been a great Disney princess, but for some reason this beat Wreck-It Ralph. I'll talk about that whenever I talk about my Best Animated Feature nominees and winners video, whatever. Whenever I talk about that, I'm going to talk about Brave and how it beat other films in the nominations, which makes no sense because it has the Disney Pixar name on it. Another time. Hey, so I got a riddle for you. What do you get when you take a really amazing, one of the best movies you've ever seen, and give it a sequel 14 years later? You get something extremely average and mediocre. Let's talk about Incredibles 2. Good things. I like Frozone. I love Frozone. He's amazing. It's got some really good action choreography, and it's also got some really good Elastigirl stuff. Like, she's actually the main character of this one instead of Mr. Incredible. Although Mr. Incredible resents his wife's success, which I get it's the 50s or whatever, but like, it's kind of an ass about it, and he never really gets called out for it. And the villain is so weak. Literally, when I went to go see this film, this was before I actually started analyzing films when I watched them. Because back then I would just watch a film and be like, oh, I like this. Oh, I don't like this. And now I watch films and I'm like, I like this or I don't like this. Here's why I like this or don't like this. I analyze it while I'm watching it. I'm like, that could have been done better. That could have been worse. That was amazing. That was bad. And I actually just like think about it consciously while also trying to enjoy the film. Even back then, before I did that, and I was just watching the film just to watch it, even back then I knew this film was incredibly weak, and I could tell the villain was going to be... Let me just give you her name and see if you can spell it out, literally. Evelyn Dever. What does that sound like? Evelyn Dever. Perhaps Evil Endeavor? I might be stretching a little bit here, but that sounds like a villain. A twist villain at that, something that Pixar's never been shy from. I don't know how you take 14 years after you make an amazing film like The Incredibles and you make the most mediocre film that you could possibly make. I mean, Frozone definitely helps the film. It definitely feels like he's trying to protect the kids and all that. The new characters, like the new superheroes, look so plastic and cartoony. They literally look like they're straight out of Disney Infinity. And I don't know why they made that Void girl out to be like she's this like important character when she ended up not being. That didn't really make any sense. The Incredibles each get their like moment to shine every now and then, but like most of the time it's just like Elastigirl or the kids, but like not as action-packed as the last time. And they also copied the whole thing of like the government being mad at the superheroes for trying to save the city even though it caused damage. Kind of stole that from Captain America Civil War. I guess this has its fun moments, but it lacks the impact and cohesion of its predecessor, and it could never live up to it. Spoilers, Incredibles is going to be very high on this list, just saying. But yeah, Incredibles 2 is the most mediocre Pixar film there could possibly be. And that is sad.
I'm sorry that I yelled. It wasn't your fault that I almost got killed.
Yay, more cars. I love talking about cars. So this one's not as bad as Cars 2, obviously, but it's also confusing. It's very confusing because the whole premise of this is Lightning McQueen is aging. He's aging as a car, which I don't know how cars are supposed to age. I know that Doc Hudson dies, but we don't know how he died. We don't know if his like engine exploded or he ran out of gas or something. I don't know. I guess it's got a more serious tone for the most part. Some parts are less serious than others. They introduce a new young car named Cruz. I want to say Ramirez. Yeah, Cruz Ramirez. I mean, I guess I like the idea of like the newer, faster cars surpassing Lightning McQueen since he's an older version, but like, how does he age though? Like, they're acting like he's the problem because he aged, but like, if anything, he didn't really age, it's just the new cars were evolved better. So I don't really understand the logic of that. It's kind of a core part of this whole movie. I don't really understand the emotional payoff feels rushed. It doesn't fully commit to its themes. It has some weird monster truck rally or something like that, or demolition derby, or whatever the hell it is. I will say even though it was plastered all over advertising when the trailers came out, Lightning McQueen's massive car crash during that race was definitely a good moment in terms of like dramatic storytelling, and I think it definitely did a lot for his character. It provided real stakes with physical consequences, it forced Lightning McQueen to confront his limitations, and it set up the movie pretty well, and there was less Mater, and there was more Chick Hicks, which I love. This is fine, it had some good ideas, but this film wasn't really push far enough in my opinion. I don't know, it felt lazy, it felt like every other sports movie, and again, it feels like a movie that could have been done by humans driving cars. So I don't know, I just got one more Cars movie to talk about, and then I'm done talking about Cars, at least for this video, so I'm happy about that.
Water, earth, fire, air.
Next up we've got Elemental, which is kind of a movie that I forgot existed until I was watching through the Pixar movies, and I got to it and I was like, oh yeah, this came out. I never saw it. It was good. It was not bad. So to start off with the positives, I really like how this is a cultural metaphor. Like, it's a metaphor for like cultural differences, how the water people kind of, in my opinion, from what I saw, represents like white people, and the fire people represent a culture that is not very like accepting to other people outside of them. I don't really know how much I could say without it sounding bad, but this is just from what I saw in the film. This isn't like a commentary or anything. You know what? Let's go with that. It's cultural, which I really like. It's a subtle cultural nod, and I really appreciate that, because Disney needs to they need to make up for the past. They need to keep making up for the past, because we all remember this. And this. And who could forget this? So yeah, more cultural movies, please, and make sure to do them right. I also really like the world building of like all the different elements like coming together, like in their own individual city, like together. They all have their own sections, they all have their own ways of working. They've got like grass people, fire people, water people. They got all different types of people, and I think that's really, really cool, and it's very good world building in my opinion. However, I will say this story is a little predictable. It's a predictable love story between a water guy and a fire girl, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was a video game first. Put it up on screen if it is. I played this in school when I was young. They copied this. Disney, Pixar, how dare you? I also feel like it's a little underdeveloped, I guess. Like, I don't really know, like, I like looking into the Pixar theory, and again, this video is not about that, but I like looking into the Pixar theory, and it's kind of hard to place this one. People say it's like at the very beginning because it's like the core elements and stuff, which kind of makes sense, but then again, I'm not ranking them based on the Pixar theory. I'm ranking them just based on an actual movie standpoint, and it was fine. It kind of meanders a little bit, and it's a little bit slow-paced at some points where I feel like it could have been better. I feel like this could have been a lot better, but there is one scene in particular that I really like and found extremely moving, more than most of the moments on this list, surprisingly so. It's when Ember's mother finds her with Wade and realizes that they're kind of together, but not really, but kind of together in a way, kind of that flirting stage. but not really. And she's just like, you can't be with a water person because you are fire. And to prove it, let's do this little ritual where both of you have to light a candle and smoke will come up and it'll show us like your future or your destiny or something like that. And obviously Ember, being made of fire, lights it with no problem. But Wade, he's made of water. How is he supposed to do that? So instead of just giving up, he shows his love for Ember by positioning himself in a way that Ember's fire reflects through the water and creates like a little whatever it's called, a little light thing. Like whenever you reflect something from like an eyeglass or something, and it like burns something into the sand on a beach or something like that. I don't really know how to describe it. A little light ray, if that's the right word for it. That ends up lighting it, and it shows their destinies or whatever it is. And I think that it's a really moving scene for like showing how to get around cultural differences by using your strengths and by adapting and doing that for someone you love. And I really, really like that. And I love the idea of love across different cultures. I love it. I personally have experience in that area, and I really love the idea of different cultures coming together and just being able to work things out the way that this movie did. It definitely visualizes compromise in love, which I really like, and it shows how different cultures can connect. This is one of the clearest emotional moments on this entire list. However, it's not very consistent. It's got the same issues as another film we will talk about in this, where one specific scene overpowers the rest of the movie and in turn kind of brings it down a little bit. I feel like there was a lot more they could have done with this film, but I still like it. I would rewatch it, but there are some issues with it that I find with the storytelling and the pacing and I don't know, just the predictability. So, you know, it's not a bad film just because it ranks a bit lower, but definitely could be improved. It definitely doesn't add up and match up to other films on this list.
He won 3 piston cups.
He did what in his cup?
Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. Let's talk about Cars, and I'm excited because this is the last time I gotta talk about Cars on this video, and hopefully for a while. Cars, the first one. This one's not bad. It's simple, yet grounded. It's effective, you know, it works. Don't get me wrong, it is not a very great movie, I'll give it that. It's very low stakes, the characters are somewhat shallow, and the growth is a bit shallow too. I mean, I get that Lightning McQueen, his whole point is he's a race car who lives his life in the fast lane, and you know, he's always going fast, and he can't slow down and enjoy life, and Radiator Springs kind of forces him to do that, and he learns how to make friends, and he learns he loves a blue car named Sally. You know, I definitely feel like the point was there, but the execution was a bit off. It does have a likable supporting cast in this one, not the second, in this one. I like the side characters, like I like the sheriff, I like the Big Red, the fire truck, I like, what's the name of that one old car whose husband died and there's a statue of him? I like Guido and the other one, I can't remember the names. Is it like Mario or something like that? And you know, Mater is fine. He's serviceable. He's funny in this one. They definitely... I need to stop talking about Cars 2. This isn't about Cars 2. I've talked about it already. I really like the scene where Lightning McQueen, Chick Hicks, and the King are racing at the end, and you know, everybody from Radiator Springs comes out to help him, and it looks like he's about to win. It looks like Lightning McQueen's about to cross the finish line. But just as he's about to, Chick Hicks crashes into the King and makes him fly off, and Lightning sees this, stops, and lets Chick Hicks go past him, winning, then goes back and gets the King, helps him out, and like gets him through the finish line. Which, couldn't Lightning have just like gone through the finish line and then turned around and then got the King through it as like a little thing? So that way Chick Hicks didn't win. I guess this is a nice message, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's a strong metaphor for sportsmanship and humility, which is something that Lightning McQueen desperately lacks at the beginning. So it definitely shows good character growth on that aspect. I definitely think that, you know, it's a solid message, but with some limited depth. I really liked this movie as a kid. I don't really care for it that much, just like the other Cars movies as an adult. But Maybe my mind will change one day, but until then, I don't know, man. Cars. It gave us the Rascal Flatts cover of Life is a Highway, which is one of the greatest songs ever, so bonus points for that.
My name is Michael with a B, and I've been afraid of insects my entire...
Stop. Where? Where's the bee?
There's a bee.
Next up is a film that a lot of people swear by, and I do not understand why. Next up is A Bug's Life. So, the good things. Unfortunately, Kevin Spacey is in this movie, but the fact that he is a massive villain in real life and a terrible, terrible human being, that makes his voice delivery as Hopper really, really good. I think Dot is cute, the small little ant. I think that she's cute. The grandma is a baddie. I don't even know if I should include that. I really like the clear class struggle between the ants and the grasshoppers. I really like the idea of, like, even though the ants outnumber the grasshoppers 1,000,000 to 1, they still fall in line with what the grasshoppers say based out of strictly fear. And there's even a really good scene in this. I think it's like grains or something like that they're eating. The grasshoppers are like eating grain or something like that. And they're like, it's just one little ant that stood up to you. And Hopper is like, he takes down the entire thing and they all just collapse onto the grasshoppers. He's like, this is what happens if they all decide to stand up like one does. And that's a really effective scene, and it definitely is more prevalent now than ever with some of the people in some certain power positions nowadays. Just saying. It's got some simplistic execution, you know, and it's very derivative. It's less emotionally nuanced than other Pixar films. Not to mention, the whole liar revealed shtick that they do this is probably one of the worst examples of that, considering they just kind of sulk about it. They have a decent plan with, like, the bird, but it's not very thought through, and I don't know. This film is just noticeably weaker. It's kind of like Ants from DreamWorks. Wait, when did Ants come out? Ants came out October 2nd, 1998, and A Bug's Life came out November 14th, 1998. Pixar, you copyright, you copycats, how dare you? Sue them. DreamWorks, we need to sue Disney and Pixar right now. I've never seen Ants. I did see The Ant Bully, though, and that's popped up right here, and that was a weird-ass movie. Wasn't Nick Cage in that? Yeah, Nicolas Cage was in that. That's, interesting. Oh, it had Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, Paul Giamatti. How did they have all these, giant stars in this, like, really weird movie? Anyway, this is about A Bug's Life. I don't know why that tangent happens. Weird childhood memories right there. There's one scene in particular that really, really works for me, besides the whole, like, Hopper explaining to the grasshoppers why they gotta keep the ants in line. It's the one where Flick actually stands up to Hopper and explains that ants have collective power and that ants don't need grasshoppers, grasshoppers need ants. And I really like that. That's a very, very good scene. And it turns fear into empowerment. And it reinforces the movie's core theme of the class struggle and how that the majority need to rise up against the oppressors up top who are ultimately the minority. It's a conceptually strong movie. I definitely think that they were trying to beat Ants, which I feel like they did, because I've never even seen Ants. And I know a lot of people who swear by A Bug's Life and say it's an amazing movie. It's not top tier. It's not that great. Emotionally, it's kind of straightforward, and it's very, I don't know, it's conventional, and it's also just very contrived, and it's not one of my favorites. Even as a kid, I was just like, this one's okay, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This one's just kind of a whatever film, in my opinion.
Like in Footloose, the movie?
Exactly like Footloose. Is it still the greatest movie in history?
It never was.
Next up, we've got the Blue People, Chris Pratt, Tom Holland movie, but it's not the Smurfs. Even though it's Blue People, it's elves, actually. Although are Smurfs elves? I don't know. Tangent is unrelated. We're talking about Onward. Onward is a good concept. Surprisingly good concept. A world where magic is real and all of these magical beings like centaurs and elves and all different kinds of mythical creatures all coexist, but they stop using magic over time because of the advancements of technology, and they kind of put it to a back seat to where it's not really used anymore. And Ian and Barley, I think is their names, they have to they have to use magic to try to get their father back, and in turn it kind of brings back magic to the world in a way. This was a little bit strange how it was just Ian, Barley, and a pair of pants that was worn by their dad, and he's not alive anymore, but like they were trying to bring him back, but they only brought back his bottom half. That's kind of weird. I would have brought back everything except the head. You know, that would have been, although I guess that might have been horrifying. I don't know. It was a little bit of a weird concept, but I get it. Chris Pratt was pretty good in this. I think that there could have been some improvements. I would have preferred, you know, Jack Black or John C. Reilly, or, you know, somebody, but I think that Chris Pratt did an okay job at this. And Tom Holland surprisingly did really good. He did really good with this film. He had some really good character moments and some pretty good line deliveries, and I'm just a big fan of Tom Holland. I love Tom Holland. He's amazing. This film is good though in some ways. You know, it's got that brotherly love theme and also father-son themes and some like creative magic systems. And by the way, I know a lot of people like this film because it's relatable, but stop saying it's good just because it's relatable. Like, that's not what makes a film good if it's relatable, because relativity is subjective. So, I don't know, it's hard to determine what makes a good or bad movie, but just because that I see myself in something or because I can relate to something, then I am automatically supposed to think the movie is good? No. I don't like How to Train Your Dragon because I see myself in Hiccup when he was young and weak, like I was when I was younger. I don't like the movie because of that. I like it because it's a gorgeous and stunning film that I definitely need to make a review of, all three of those movies. But regardless of all that, Onward is pretty good. Onward is decent. It's fine. It's a very okay film. It's very middle ground, in my opinion. It's kind of just like, I kind of feel like it's filler compared to like other like really big dramatic and emotional films. This film did have some emotions though. I really like how at the end, Ian is letting Barley go to see both of their father because he had more of a relationship with him and he missed him more because Ian didn't actually really meet their father. So I definitely think that that's a good way to go about it. I definitely think that was a good emotional moment. There's one key scene in particular that I really like, and it's visual proof of Ian's growth and his own inner strength that he learns and that Barley knows is always there. It's the scene where Ian crosses the broken bridge using magic while Barley encourages him while holding a rope that's tied around him in case he falls. And then Barley loses the rope and Ian is there by himself over there, and he still thinks the rope is on him, but he still keeps going. It reminds me of that one scene from the movie that I can't remember, but it's a football movie where the coach blindfolds the kid and puts another kid on his back and has him crawl to the 50-yard line, but he actually crawls all the way across the field. That's kind of the same vibes I get from this, and it's really good. I definitely think it was a powerful, moving scene. However, it's very predictable, this film. It's very, I don't know, the structure is just kind of predictable, and it's just kind of an okay movie. It's a movie you watch if you really don't want to be like wowed by something or, you know, whatever. I think that it's still good, but, you know, while it's got effective moments, it's a very safe movie. It's a very non-risky movie where they don't take a lot of risks. I think that this film is just fine. I would rewatch it, but I wouldn't be excited to rewatch it. I wouldn't go on Disney Plus and like search for it. I'd have to like come across it and be like, all right, I guess I'll watch it maybe. I mean, if I'm in the mood for it, but we love Tom Holland, so get some bonus points for that.
I'm welling up with tears. Now get off.
Okay, a film that's both overrated and underrated at the same time. I don't really know which way to lean on this one, but I'm thinking kind of more underrated. Monsters University. So, this is a continuation, well, not a continuation, it's a prequel to Monsters, Inc., where Mike and Sully meet, and it doesn't make sense because of this one line Mike Wazowski says in Monsters, Inc., where he says, "You've been jealous of my good looks since the 4th grade, pal," and they met in university. Oh, the movie's ruined. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. This film is good. It's decent. I enjoy watching it. They nailed the university aesthetic. As somebody who's a senior in college right now and is about to graduate in a few months, they've nailed it perfectly. From the on-campus stuff to the extracurricular activities to the whatever that field day thing is called, where you walk through the campus and they got like tons of tables set up that have like, you know, debate club, come and join us in debate, or art club, come and draw some stuff with us, or, you know, on top of that, the classrooms and the course load for sure. Definitely got that right. They definitely nailed the college aesthetic really well. Although I've never met the dean of my school, and I hope I never have to, because I feel like if I did, I'd be in a lot of trouble. The dean in this is kind of the antagonist, but also not really. The main antagonist is listed somewhere as Johnny Wentworth III or something like that, or whatever his name is. The jock rival douchebag character, I don't care. We also learned that Randall has bad eyesight, which is why he squints, and he used to wear glasses, but Mike says he shouldn't. A lot of cool little subtle things in there that I really like. It's also got side characters. Anyway, I don't remember their names, I'm not gonna lie. There's a purple dude, I think his name's like Arch or something. There's like one yellow dude with like two heads. He's like Terry and Barry or something like that. There's Squishy, I think, or Squishles. So I don't know. The purple dude, and then the big purple dude with the mustache. I might be missing someone. I don't care. I had never joined a fraternity. I was approached by them a few times, by a couple of them, but never really joined it, never really wanted to. So I can't say for certain whether they nailed that aspect or not, but I feel like they probably did. And like I said, this is a prequel where we get to see how Mike and Sully actually became friends, and we eventually see how they ended up working for Monsters, Inc. Turns out they're actually college dropouts. Well, kicked out of college, but yeah. This is actually a pretty good expansion of the Monsters, Inc. world. I really wish they would capitalize on it and make another Monsters, Inc. related thing. And no, Monsters at Work that doesn't count. Monsters at Work does not count. It's got some strong character focus, especially on Mike Wazowski, because I feel like a lot of the main central story for Monsters, Inc. was Sully, Mike, and Boo as like a three-person team, whereas this one, it's got Sully who's in there, and he's definitely a massive part, a big main character. But also, I feel like it's mostly about Mike Wazowski. I feel like this is like about Mike mostly, so I really think that that's a good way to like showcase where these two came from, specifically Mike Wazowski. There's this one scene that I really like. It's where Mike goes into the human world trying to scare some kids, but then he realizes they're not scared of him, which is weird because if I saw this, I think I'd be scared shitless. Even right now, I'd be really scared if I saw that coming into my bedroom at night. Regardless, the kids aren't scared of him. He runs out into the woods and goes and sits by a lake and kind of sulks. And Sully ends up coming through the door, even though everybody tells him not to, and he follows Mike trying to find him, and he eventually finds him while being chased by humans, and they have a genuine heart-to-heart that really shows the empathy that replaces their once rivalry, and it highlights how different their worlds truly are, but yet they both have some similarities in their weaknesses. I really think that it's a beautiful, beautiful scene. And I think that the way that they come together really feels like a natural way for their friendship to really start. However, for a prequel, the stakes are going to be low. I mean, any prequel, the stakes are going to be low if you know everything works out in the end. So I can't really blame it on that. And it's got a bit of a predictable ending. Well, okay, it's got a predictable ending of the scare game stuff, but it's got some parts of it that work, like them getting kicked out and eventually working in the mailroom at Monsters, Inc. and working their way up. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting Sully to cut the wires or whatever to rig the scare game so Mike won. It's limited narratively, in my opinion, and the side characters are totally forgettable. It's an emotionally smart film. I really like it. I really enjoy watching it, but I don't think that it's like, a top tier film, and it definitely doesn't reach the same heights as its predecessor, Monsters, Inc. Still a good movie, but I don't know. It's also kind of in the middle ground.
Who are you?
Jenny?
Marlon? Charlie?
Nemo?
Yoshi!
Next, we've got a film that is easily the most overhated film in all of Pixar, and it's very, I want to say it's underrated, but it's definitely not overrated, and it's definitely not deserving of all the hate it gets. Even though it's a Disney sequel, Pixar sequel, it still gets way too much hate for what it is, and that's Finding Dory. And I'm not just saying that because Ty Burrell, or whatever his name is, the guy from Modern Family, plays an orca in this or something like that. And also Ed whatever his name is from Modern Family, who plays Jay, is an octopus in this. I love Modern Family. I think it's a decent progression of Finding Nemo. You know, it's got some strong payoffs. It expands Dory's character meaningfully to where she's not just the forgetful blue fish anymore. She's actually got a story, and they actually tell the story. And it's you know, it works. It works. It's not the best, but I mean, it's definitely one of the better Pixar sequels for sure. I mean, look, the middle kind of meanders a little bit. The middle is kind of whatever. And, you know, it's less adventurous than Finding Nemo. I don't really buy the whole aquarium environment, even though it was a great continuation conceptually. The seals were cute. The sea otters were very cute. Dory drives a truck. That happens. Yeah, I will say though, there's one scene that I really like. So despite the fact that it's called Finding Dory, it's actually Finding Dory's parents. So they're not finding Dory, well, I guess Marlin and Nemo are trying to find Dory while also trying to find her parents. Regardless, she eventually finds her parents, spoiler alert. And while she escapes from the aquarium, I think it's after she crashes a truck into the river because Dory drives a truck. I think it's after that, maybe? I could be wrong. I think it is. I think it is. So her parents knew from a young age that Dory loved shells. Up until the time she was, she got lost and wandered away. No, she loves shells. I don't know why I struggled so much to say that. So from that day forth, they would put out shells that lead from their home all the way out to however far they go. And they knew that if she saw those shells, she might get interested and might swim on the path of it and eventually find them again. And that's exactly what happens. She follows the shells thinking that her parents are dead because that's what the fish at the aquarium told her. And she finds them and they don't hesitate. They rush to her like Speedy over there, Speedy Gonzalez to there, and they rush right to her, they hug her, embrace, and it is just so beautiful, man. It is I mean, honestly, it might crack a tear if I'm watching it. I might crack a tear while watching it. It's a very, very moving scene, and it's definitely a really nice payoff. It's got some great moments. I like how it wasn't a Nemo-centric movie, considering like Marlin and Nemo were main focus is the last one, so they made it. See, Cars, this is how you do it. This is how you make a sequel with a side character work.
You're just like me. Trash!
Next we've got, honestly, I'm gonna say the weakest one of the bunch. The weakest one of these four films, Toy Story 4. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong. People hate it way more than it deserves. It's got a strong narrative, and it's got bold narrative decisions to where they take some different risks and have a completely different story than what they've done. And they include a flashback too, which is pretty cool. It does feel a bit unnecessary in hindsight, and it definitely undermines the closure of Toy Story 3 and the ending of that. This was definitely a movie that did not need to be made. However, they did a good job making a film that did not have to be made. They made it good. It's still a good film. The key scene for me that always kind of pulls my attention is when Woody and Buzz split. It's definitely marking the end of an era, and it's emotionally resonant. Well, it was the end of an era, except they're making Toy Story 5 for some reason, and Woody comes back, even though that undermines the ending of Toy Story 4, which that film kind of undermined the ending of Toy Story 3. So I don't know what they're doing at this point. Also, they're like fighting they're not fighting, but like I guess they're fighting for attention for the kid from the iPads and technology, which definitely works in modern day. It's a good concept. But like, what? I really don't want them to make a film that hurts the reputation of the Toy Story franchise. They were really lucky to get away with Toy Story 4. They barely got away with that one, so I don't know how they're gonna pull it off, but I really hope they do. It's got a powerful ending. It's got some, you know, it's really just the questionable existence that's the part that kind of drives me away from this film a little bit in terms of the other, in like comparison to all the other Toy Story films. But I think that it's still pretty good for what it is, and I would rewatch it, but it's definitely the weakest of the Toy Story films for sure. right, say it with me, class. The first 10 to 15 minutes doesn't mean this is a masterpiece. Up is fine. Up is good. Up is a good movie. I like Up. But it's not a masterpiece because of the first 10 to 15 minutes. Get that out of your heads. Look, everybody likes to point at this and say it's a masterpiece. It's not. It's a good film, but that's it. It's not a masterpiece. The first 10 to 15 minutes are a masterpiece, but you want to know what happens whenever the first 10 to 15 minutes of a film is where it peaks and the rest is just kind of a whatever walking along a cliffside movie? The rest of the film doesn't feel as emotionally resonant or powerful, and it makes the film suffer. So it's ironic, but the amazing opening to this movie is what brings it down somehow. Because the rest of it feels like, I don't really know how to describe it. You put like fancy cheese on a McDonald's cheeseburger. That's kind of what you did. I mean, not to say this is as bad as, not to say this is a bad film or anything. It's not. It's definitely lovable. I love a lot of it, but it's not a good film because of the first 10 to 15 minutes. We need to accept that as a society. Let me start out with the weaker points since I'm already at this negative start to the film, ironically. The villain is kind of weak. Charles Muntz. I don't think this is a film that particularly needed a villain. I mean, he's good in doses, like whenever he puts fire to Carl and Ellie's house. That definitely justified him being a villain right there. That was good. The scene where he kind of reveals to Carl and Russell that he's been killing people and trying to get that bird for decades, I really think that was a good twist. I like the dog army that he has. I really think that was a good touch. And I like how Doug was part of the dog army, but I don't know. The first act really is just what overshadows the rest of the film, and the film suffers because of it. And that's really a shame, because the first 10 to 15 minutes are some of the most beautiful storytelling you are ever going to see, with very, very minimal dialogue. They only have dialogue whenever they're like kids, though. Because after that, it's like, they meet, they grow up, they get married, they try to have a kid. Doctor says they can't have kids. He plans to take her to the place she always wanted to go to, Paradise Falls. She gets sick, she dies, he goes to her funeral, and he goes home to the house that they built together, alone and depressed. The key scene of this is definitely the montage of Carl and Ellie's life together. And I also really like the little detail how Carl doesn't know how to tie a tie because Ellie always did it for him, so after Ellie dies, he wears a bow tie. I think that's a good touch. I think that's a really nice touch of him really missing her, along with a bunch of other great points. But still, this is an emotionally great film, but the follow through isn't perfect compared to the first 10 to 15 minutes. I gotta keep hammering that home because people still think this is a masterpiece, even though this is not in the top 10 Pixar films because of the 10 to 15 minutes. This film is really good, but it's really just walking to where you need to go with a villain thrown in there. You have some cute side characters like Doug and Kevin. Russell is a lovable kid. I really like him as a character. I like the theories that Carl died before they came to go get him, and him floating in the house is actually heaven, like him going to heaven, and Russell is his guardian angel. I really like that too. I love those darker Pixar theories, but this film is just really good, but it's not in the top 10. I wouldn't even say it's in the top 15, which is why it's at 16. So I'm sorry, but I think that's just perfect placement for Up. I'm not gonna lie, I was really impressed by Turning Red. I was expecting it to be like a film that's filled with cheesy, not very funny dialogue and quote unquote jokes and pop culture references, and it was gonna be some cringeworthy teenage movie that's trying too hard to relate to kids. It's not that at all. It's actually really, really great. It's good. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually one of Pixar's better films, especially for recent years. I think that people give it too much hate. I think that don't get me wrong, on an emotional scale, it's kind of smaller. It's got less universal appeal for sure because it's definitely centered towards women. But if you're deterred from a movie just because that it's primarily marketed towards women because it's it might be a representation of women in their periods and then going into womanhood, then I think that the movie is not the problem. I think that you are the problem. But still, this has an honest portrayal of adolescence that is just specific and personal, And even as a male, I can really appreciate a film that clearly helps out younger women grow into womanhood, dealing with all these complex emotions. And I really think that this is a really good film for younger people to watch, because I feel like it's something they can find comfort in. That's really powerful to me. I really like the scene where May is that her name? May? I know it's May, but I think that the mom calls her May. Where May is trying to control her panda from coming out, and even though she's bombarded with some sad stuff and some really cute kittens and stuff, that's something that would normally make her really emotional, she thinks about her friends, and it calms her down, and she is perfectly fine and content as a cucumber. So I really like that. It's an effective metaphor for emotional regulation during puberty. I assume it's good advice for women. I can't speak on that myself, but I hope it is. I really hope it is. I mean, it might not be as expansive as some of Pixar's best, but it's thoughtful. Its heart is in the right place. Characters are very likable. I was really expecting one of the friends of May's to get on my nerves, but they all kind of worked for me. I don't know. They all really worked, and it was quirky. It was fun. I had a good time with this film. I'm not gonna lie. I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
So this one, I don't know if this is considered a recency bias or what, but Elio was really good. Elio was actually surprisingly not bad for being the most recent Pixar film. Sure, it's got a familiar structure and it's limited emotionally, and it's definitely a good but not great film, I will admit that, but I had a good time with this film. I really like the concept. I like Elio as a character. I really like Gordon as a character. It's kind of got the same vibes as Home, that one DreamWorks movie with Sheldon from Big Bang Theory voicing a purple guy and Rihanna voicing young Rihanna, I guess, where the monsters actually just misunderstood, but not really. I don't know. It's a bit strange. It's a bit different, but still, I really like it. I think that Elio is definitely a better film, and it's got strong central friendship between Elio and Gordon. It's got likable protagonists in Elio and Gordon, and it's got a really neat concept. I will say, the second that I realized that Elio's parents were dead, I was just like, oh, not a Pixar movie until someone's parents die or something like that. Or is that Disney? Well, probably both. Or Batman.
You are correct, sir.
I really like the scene where Elio meets Gordon. I really like that. I think that's a really charming and fun little scene where they come together, and I love Gordon so much. I just want to give him a big hug. He's so cute. It's a solid and very charming film, but it's not iconic. Maybe that's just because of how recent it is, but I don't think it's on the top tier films, and it's definitely not cracking the top 10 for sure. But I would totally watch Elio again. I have so much fun. I love space films, but not overly I'm not a Star Wars or Star Trek guy. I'm not I don't know if Stranger Things counts, but I'm not a big supernatural guy when it comes to films. But this space film I really liked. I'm not gonna lie, I had fun with this one.
Bottle of water.
And next we have a movie that is the embodiment of the word charming. No, we already talked about Shrek, and we don't like charming. Don't ever bring him up again. How dare you? Luca. I really like Luca. I was expecting Luca to be bad because it's one of the 2020s Pixar movies, and a lot of those haven't really been that great. So I mean, I was just like, I don't know, man, this might be good, it might be not good, I don't know. But dude, I was really surprised with how much I like Luca. It's genuinely a really fun watch, and maybe it's just my biasy because I love Italian accents. I love the pasta with the meatball and the Vespa, which is actually used in this film, the Vespa. Actually, I guess pasta's used in this too. It's very Italian. I will say, I don't know why they stole the character model of the dad from that one Pixar short where they're sweeping stars off the sky or something like that. Where they stole that for the dad for this movie. I don't know. Yeah, man, it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got kind of a quiet conflict, a quieter conflict. It doesn't feel as serious. The stakes don't feel as high. I feel like they could have leaned into the whole people hate sea monster thing a little bit more, and they could have had a little bit of pushback from the whole, oh, monsters are good now thing. I feel like they could have definitely done a little bit better on that front. But still, this has got strong friendship dynamics. It's got really gentle storytelling. And Alberto sacrificing his position in the race for Luca is a great scene. I really like that, even after everything they've been through. And it really shows the selfless character growth without any melodrama. And this is a subtle and heartfelt film, and don't get me wrong, this isn't a top tier film. This isn't a film that I would watch over any other Pixar film, but this is a film that I enjoy and I really like watching, and I really like the villain. I love Nikolai. He is so unbelievably and ungodly funny. He's like, he's like, he slaps his like friend whenever he says something stupid. It reminds me of Gilligan's Island, whenever the old guy would take the hat and he would like slap the other guy with the hat whenever he'd say something stupid. That's the same vibes I get from this, and I really think it's funny as hell, dude. This is a really fun one. This actually inspired me to want to learn Italian, and I gave up. But still, I wanted to learn, so you know that counts for something, right? Luca is such a fun film, and I probably will watch it again, honestly. It's so fun.
Buzz looking alien! Where?
Okay, people are going to be mad because it's not in the top 10. Number 12 is Toy Story. I know. Look, I love Toy Story as much as everybody else. I loved Toy Story when I was a kid so much to where I had every toy imaginable. I would watch the movies constantly. I had every book that had something to do with Toy Story, every coloring book, every puzzle, everything that you could possibly imagine. I probably had. I dressed up as Buzz Lightyear for one Halloween, and I think Woody for another, but I can't remember. I love Toy Story. But I'm gonna come right out and say this, not the animation. That is not a valid critique, ever, when talking about Toy Story. The animation, sure, it doesn't look great now, but you gotta think about the time it came out. This was 1995 we're talking about. This was revolutionary animation. Back then, don't get me wrong, it wasn't great, but even back then, but like the human animation, oh my god, it was terrible. But the toys animation, the expressiveness on them, this was one of the most revolutionary films of all time. And it's what started Pixar out on their company, really. And it's got some really good character building between Woody and Buzz and the side characters and everything. And the original is very good. I really like the scene that became one of the most iconic scenes in all of Disney and Pixar, where Woody and Buzz are actually flying to the moving truck and Buzz is finally flying. And it created a lot of memes. We're not aiming for the truck, and then they crash into a building. I don't know if I could put it on YouTube or not, but you know the memes I'm talking about. They crash into a building. Anyway, it's definitely an iconic payoff, this scene, to their rivalry turned friendship and, you know, the teamwork that they establish after getting kidnapped by Sid and all that. And it's really fun. And I like how Sid is theorized to come back in Toy Story 3 as the garbage guy. I really like that. This is a foundational and groundbreaking piece for Pixar, and it definitely deserves to be up there as one of the most important films, honestly, in animation history. It definitely is surpassed, and it definitely doesn't break the top 10 in my opinion, but I think this is still a really fun film. I would totally watch it again, and it's definitely better than Lightyear, that's for sure.
Give me some fin. Noggin. Yeah.
Now we've got one of my all-time favorite animated films because of how close it is to my birthday. It came out in 2003, and I was born in 2003. It came out right before I was born, so I know that just made a few people feel old, so you're welcome for that. Finding Nemo. Dude, I love Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is so good, man. It is such a good film. I absolutely love it. It's not like great, but it's not bad. It's like right in the middle of like good. It's really just good. Like if I was to make a tier list of like, you know, S, A, B, C, and D, it would easily be at A. It would 100% be at A, because it's just a good movie. That's the best way to describe it. Sure, the familiar quest structure is kind of tired. It's a bit bland, But I do like the whole, like, you know, he's willing to literally go across the entire ocean to find Nemo. It's got a strong emotional through line. The opening scene is just insane for a Pixar movie. I mean, it's very dark, like a barracuda ate Marlin's wife and kids and left one disabled kid. Can I say disabled, or is it some... I don't know. It's very memorable too. Even the side characters like Gil, the starfish, the pufferfish, Jacques, who is the greatest Pixar character of all time. Jacques. We need a Jacques movie right now. I love Jacques. Ironically, I hate the French, so Jacques is an exception. Why did I say that? I'm gonna get so much hate for that. Dude, the scene that really just kind of makes us... It's not an emotional scene or anything. It's not even a powerful scene. It's just fun. Riding the current with Crush and Squirt, where Marlin and Nemo are riding the current with them and the other sea turtles, and it's just pure joy and charm. And Squirt is so adorable. He is so cute. And have you ever seen those videos of Crush at Disney World or Disneyland or whatever? And he's like interacting with people, and someone will be like, you know, my favorite food is fish, and he like swims away like, I don't like you, or something like that. It's so funny, dude. It's such a fun and clearly heartfelt movie. There is definitely a lot of heart that was put into this movie and a lot of love, and I really appreciate that. And still not in the top 10 though. But starting out with the top 10, we've got
Anxiety.
Yeah, I'm surprised it made it this high too. Speaking of 2, Inside Out 2. Dude, how did they do it? How did they make the sequel to Inside Out just as good as Inside Out? Like, if I could, I would tie this with spoiler alert, Inside Out is going to be number 9. Just spoiler alert. They're on the exact same level for me. Maybe the first one's just a smidge higher, but still, Inside Out 2 is so good. It's got strong visual metaphors. It's got a really accurate depiction of mental health and like a good portrayal of Riley. Riley getting this, like, these new complicated emotions, a natural progression of the story, new characters that actually feel like they belong in the movie, like Anxiety, and not the Anxiety, that terrible, terrible Dochi song that is for some reason it was up for Song of the Year. That was one of the worst songs of the year. Why is that there? I prefer the Orange Anxiety to the Dochi Anxiety for sure. I mean, the cast is slightly crowded. Do I think they needed all of them? No, I don't think they needed all of them, but like, I forget what are their names. I know Anxiety, but what's the new ones? So Inu is like the best way I could put it is like in the 7 deadly sins, you've got like, you know, wrath, greed, gluttony, and all them. This one is sloth, I think, because it's just like a lazy one that just wants to be like, you know, whatever, man. I want to be on my phone, whatever. And then you got like embarrassment, which I kind of think that this one's good. I feel like embarrassment's fine. I don't think that it was really necessary to have this one, but yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it. Then you got envy, which personally, I do not think that envy needed to be a part of this at all. You got fear and disgust and anger, sadness and joy from the original. You have to have the original 5. But yeah, I feel like they just needed anxiety and embarrassment because the other 2, like envy and Inu, I don't know how to say it. I just feel like it was a little crowded. But Maya Hawke did an amazing job as Anxiety in this. Oh my god, she did great. I genuinely felt like she was exactly what she needed to be for this, and her voice work was splendid. That was the word I came up with, splendid. Okay. I will say there is one scene, just like all these other, I don't know why I keep saying that. There is one scene. There's always one scene. One scene in this that I really like is at the hockey rink, Riley is performing not as great as she wants to, and she suffers a severe anxiety attack while sitting out on the bench. And it is so raw and realistic. It's a realistic portrayal of anxiety, someone who used to have really, really bad anxiety and super just awful anxiety attacks and panic attacks, especially in high school. It's visually and emotionally like authentic. It's exactly what it feels like to have an anxiety attack, and it does it perfectly. It's important, it's impactful, and it shows that Anxiety really does have a stranglehold if you let it, but anxiety is something that can be worked with and managed. And a lot of people try to like get rid of anxiety, which is impossible in my opinion. There's always going to be a little anxiety in you, even if it's just like a tiny bit, and that's okay. It's okay to have anxiety. It's just you got to know how to manage it. You got to know how to properly deal with it the way that you feel like is a good way to deal with it for yourself. That's something that I learned in my mental health journey, whatever you want to call it. I just call it growing up, but something I've learned as I've gotten to the old age of 22 at the end of my life, I found out that anxiety and mental health in general is just something that you can manage. You can't really get rid of the bad things, but you can manage it. Like, you could put a safety blanket over it instead of just wiping it clean away. So I feel like this is a really good way, especially with the ending, with the way that they incorporate anxiety to the main five and how they are like, hey, you're a part of it now. You're a part of this. I really like that. I think it's a very good metaphor for real mental health, and I really hope it helps people, especially young people who have severe anxiety, just like I did.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
My name's Wario.
I know I already said it. Spoiler alert. Inside Out is number 9. Inside Out is number 9. I mean, I said it already. They're literally on the same level for me, except Inside Out, the first one, is just like a smidge higher. This is really freaking good, man. How do you even come up with a concept like this? Emotions inside a girl's head. And no, I'm not going to say what the one guy said. I forget. I think it was an interview or something. I'm going to play the clip after this, but you really feel like you're inside. I don't even want to say it, actually. Just play it. It's gross.
It really does make you feel like you're inside this 11-year-old girl.
I know it's not what he meant, but it's out of context. It's very weird. Anyway, ignore that. The only thing I can knock this movie for is I feel like sometimes it's there more to teach than to entertain, which is fine, but you want to have a good balance. I feel like some points of it, they're trying to teach more than they're trying to entertain, which is fine. Again, I said the same thing twice. Anyway, forget about that. This is a spectacular movie, dude. This is amazing. I used to not be a fan of it, but as I started analyzing movies, and I took some classes that helped me analyze movies, I realized that this is a brilliant concept and it's emotionally intelligent, and the colors match like the emotion that you're feeling when watching it. I don't really know how to describe it. Certain emotions have certain colors, and they tell the story with colors as well in the actual movie. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really good. Check it out if you haven't. I don't know how you haven't seen it if you haven't, but it's very good. It's one of Pixar's smartest and most intelligent films. And not even to mention Joy having a breakdown in the memory dump. Dude, showing her breaking and like reframing sadness as a necessity instead of a disease. Again, learning how to work with the emotions and learning that it's okay to be sad sometimes. It's okay to feel these negative emotions. It's okay to not be okay. And I really like how Joy has a really good character arc of thinking that she always has to have Riley be happy and she can only be happy, no other emotions. And by the end, she learns sometimes you gotta feel scared. Sometimes you gotta feel sad. Sometimes you gotta get angry. Sometimes you just have to feel that way, and it's okay. And that's a beautiful message, especially when I hate whenever people call these movies kids movies, because yes, sure, they're animated, so I mean, that's not why they're kids movies, but they're marketed towards children mostly. I get it. However, for a kids movie, quote unquote, it's really telling of like how to work with certain emotions and that it's okay to feel. I'm really glad that this film can be there to tell kids it's okay to feel these emotions. You don't always have to be happy, because nobody's always only happy. Everybody gets sad. Everybody gets angry. Everybody feels these things. People get scared. It's fine. And Inside Out really portrays this perfectly. And it's one of Pixar's greatest films, one of their smartest films, definitely deserving to be in the top 10.
The orphans!
Admit it, you thought that they were gonna die at the end. Toy Story 3. Dude, what the hell? Let's talk about that first. how the hell were... I mean, good God, we thought the toys were going to die. We thought they were going to go down in that pit, holding hands, and they were just going to burst into flames. We thought that it was just going to end there. Oh my God, that traumatized us. That traumatized my entire generation. Anyway, let's move past that. Oh my God. Dude, Toy Story 3 is a gem. Man, it is a gem of a movie. It's so good. It's got really high emotional stakes. The first two movies are Andy as a kid. He's growing up, but he's still a kid. You know, he's still playing with his toys. And they even start Toy Story 3 with Andy being a kid. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's a college student now. He's about to go off to college. He doesn't play with toys anymore. What happens to the toys now that they aren't going to get played with by the one kid they've loved their entire lives or existence or whatever? How do toys become sentient? I don't remember that part of the Pixar theory, but I know it's in there. I got to rewatch that sometime. Dude, it's very heavy emotionally, which some people say is like a bad thing, but it's like, why shouldn't it be? It's the end of an era. It's strong closure for people who enjoyed the first two movies and grew up with the first two movies. At least until Toy Story 4 came out, and we already talked about that, but still. This was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I mean, Andy giving the toys away to Bonnie was just a beautiful way of passing the torch, passing the childhood forward, letting her have the toys he had so she can experience the same joys that he did when he was a kid. And it's a damn near perfect ending. And Lotso was just an amazing twist villain. I really like Barbie and Ken in this. Barbie and Ken are so funny. If it wasn't for the Barbie movie, I would say this is the best Barbie's ever been in a movie. But Margot Robbie just had to give an amazing performance. And Ryan Gosling too. One time I actually sang I'm Just Ken in the bar one time, and the entire place was just like erupted and like swaying together, and it was so fun. Yeah, dude, Toy Story 3 is one of those movies that I could watch endlessly. And it's just, there's so many subtle nods in there, like Lotso throwing down Woody's hat in front of the caged people, like, you know, oh, we got him, even though they didn't, just to get in their heads. Them, like, holding down Buzz, but then Lotso coming in like, oh no, we don't do that at Sunnyside. Like he relishes in pretending to be a good guy until he can turn on them. Lotso just like, he is such a good twist villain, man. I can't emphasize it enough. I don't know, man. And I love this film. It's damn near perfect. If it wasn't for one more Toy Story film, I'd say this was the best one. However, there is one more.
In just a few hours, you'll be sitting around a campfire with Andy making delicious hot schmoes.
They're called s'mores, Buzz.
Toy Story 2 is the best. Not just the best Toy Story film, but just the best Pixar sequel. Argue with the wall. It's right there. Dude, how did they do it? How did they do it? They made Toy Story, and then they said, hey, let's make it like 10,000 times better. And they did it. Not to mention, like, the process of having to make this film, like, the technical stuff, like, almost being, the movie completely being lost almost. That whole, like, look up the story if you haven't already. I'll link a video or something somewhere, like, on, like, one of the cards or something. Because, dude, it is such an interesting story how this film came into production. This film has perfect pacing, and it's got strong themes of worth and purpose, and the new characters they introduced, like Jesse and Bullseye, they're so lovable. The Prospector he's such a charming old man for a bit, and then he turns out to be a twist villain. Just as good as Lotso, I would say. The whole thing with Al's toy barn, and Al as a character in general, and the toys going on a mission to rescue Woody, and Woody being like, I don't know, do I want to go back to be played with, or do I want to go live in a Japanese museum and be admired on display forever? And it's like, yeah, dude, it's really existential, and it's weird to say for a toy movie, but like, a toy's purpose, you know, that's what this is. It's exceptionally crafted, and I will say, this doesn't really pertain to the story too much, but the scene where the guy from Gerald's Game, I think is what it's called. Is it Gerald or Jerry? Yeah, Jerry's Game, yeah. And the guy from Jerry's Game, one of the greatest Pixar shorts, that guy is the guy who restores Woody after he gets torn by something. I don't remember what it is, but still, it's just, this scene is just so expertly crafted, and it's really just great wordless storytelling. It's not even storytelling, just wordless animation. It's so good, man. And whenever they wipe away Andy's name off of the boot, like whenever they paint it, dude, that's really showing, like, I'd say that's a good visual representation of Woody questioning his purpose with Andy and whether he wants to go back because he knows it's going to end one day. And it does eventually end. Then he finds a new one. And I mean, the Prospector is such a good villain, dude. He tries to manipulate Woody a nice way, a calm way, trying to be like, Woody, what happens when Andy grows up? What are you going to do then? You're just going to be stuck in an attic somewhere. You're just going to be stuck in a basement somewhere. You're not going to get played with anymore. And what's going to be the fun of that? You should come with us to Japan, where we got anime girls and giant monsters. And then whenever Woody decides, you know what? No, I want to go back to Andy. Buzz and all them make a good point. And he comes back and the Prospector's like, nope, screw it. I tried it your way. Now we're going to do it my way. You're coming with us to Japan and you are going to like it. Have some sushi. Also, why doesn't Andy or his mom question why there's a new cowgirl and horse doll in their room? And all the toys are set up perfectly when neither Andy or his mom did it. Why didn't they question that at all? Doesn't matter, but still, just something I always kind of thought about. Also, the blooper reel for this is really funny, dude. Check it out if you haven't. It's so good. I love Toy Story 2. I don't know how they were able to do it so perfectly, but... Oh, and the whole Buzz, like the two Buzz things and the Zurg thing, and oh my god, dude, I love it. It's so good. Isn't this where Mrs. Potato Head gets introduced? I think it is. Yeah, dude, this is such a good movie. I'm probably gonna watch it again after this video because I love it.
Fetch me their soul!
You like jazz? Let's talk about the jazziest Pixar movie, Soul. Also the most existentially frightening movie of all time. No, it's not really the most existentially frightening. It is existential, though. It's very existential. It's a very adult movie, for sure, for Pixar especially. I get it, it's a bit abstract, and it's probably not going to connect with a younger audience the way Toy Story or Cars or A Bug's Life will. But dude, this movie is so good, man. I watched it with my family back in 2020 when the theaters were all closed, and we watched it in the living room together, and all of us were collectively like, whoa, that was really good. That was like surprisingly good and very adult for Pixar. It's got adult emotional maturity and deep philosophical themes. And there's just this one perfect scene where Joe and his mom are arguing. I think that 22 is in the body of Joe. They're arguing about like Joe's life, and Joe is in this like blue light that's like really calm and understanding, and his mom is painted in this really harsh light of red and like sharp colors that really like, she's like, no, this is where I'm at and this is where you're at, and you need to see things from my perspective and I'm right. And then Joe says he's afraid that if he were to die that day, that his life would have no purpose. His mother pauses and she walks towards him into the blue light, connecting with him and showing that they understand. Their contrasting light is no longer a thing. She understands where he's coming from and she feels what he's saying. She doesn't just hear it, she feels what he's saying. And it's a beautiful visual metaphor for understanding, especially through generations. It's one of Pixar's most bold films, and I can't really do it justice with words, man. It's so good. Don't get me wrong, there are some parts that I'm like, all right, it's a little contrived in some places. It's a bit slow paced in some places, but like 22 learning about the simplicities of life and learning about the things in life, the small things and the few things that she picks up while she's in Joe's body, which, hey, by the way, Pixar, Disney, all you guys, why are we still making movies where black people get put into animals and like, or like they get put into like different figures other than black people? That's kind of a weird little pattern you got there, and I'd appreciate if you stopped. Also, 22 was mentored by like big names in the past. Like I think Einstein was one of them, Abe Lincoln was one of them, Marie Antoinette. But Marie Antoinette was a head, which means because she got her head cut off by a guillotine when she was executed during the French Revolution. So does that mean that Abe Lincoln had a giant bullet in the back of his head, like a big hole in the back of his head? Just something to think about.
Your papa, he wanted you to have this.
Time for the top 5 Pixar movies. We've got at number 5, Coco. I talked about this in my best animated feature video, and I love it. I dare you, I defy you to watch the ending scene where Miguel sings Remember Me to Mama Coco, and she remembers her padre, and she remembers, and she sings with them, showing emotion and showing any sign of life for the first time in this movie. I defy you to watch that and not bawl your eyes out. Try not to cry at this movie, man. It's impossible. Every time I watch it, even if I go into it trying not to cry, I fail, man. This is such a beautiful, beautiful movie. But this story, though, this movie is just... wow. Hey, I think I said this before, but Disney and Pixar, all you guys, how about you don't trademark Dia de los Muertos? Because that's you can't trademark that. That's a holiday. That's a Mexican tradition. So Coco has rich cultural storytelling and a strong musical integration into the story. So many Disney movies and Pixar movies, mostly Disney, like they have a lot of music in them. They have a lot of really good songs. Aladdin has Friend Like Me, Arabian Nights, A Whole New World, Prince Ali. Lion King has I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Be Prepared, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, The Circle of Life. Coco has songs like Remember Me and Un Poco Loco, but it actually integrates those songs into the story instead of just having them as a plot device. They actually use it and use the tradition of Mexican culture and music and use it in the story to integrate it in perfectly and beautifully. I know it's a bit strange to see a pasty white dude like me talking about Mexican culture and all that. I promise you this is coming from a place of love and appreciation, I promise. This movie actually caused me to have a bucket list item of going to Mexico in November so I can be there for Dia de los Muertos. I would love to go and check it out. You know what, fine, this isn't the funniest movie, and there are some moments that are a little predictable here and there, but like, tell me that Ernesto de la Cruz is not an amazing twist villain. And Hector ending up being his great-grandfather, being Miguel's great-grandfather, dude, what? And him almost disappearing into nothing and his family sending him back, and he knows the only way to save him is by having Mama Coco remember him so his legacy can live on. Where was this when you were making Cars 2 or Brave? Where was this? This scene, no, forget that. This movie perfectly emulates memory, love, and legacy, and family, and tradition, and culture. And this is just like one of the best Pixar movies. Honestly, I would put this in like my top 50 movies of all time. 100% Coco would be in there. Probably relatively high, if not middle ground. It's just, I can't put it into words. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful.
What does he want? Clean it up! Yes!
Everybody loves WALL-E. Everybody loves WALL-E, and I could see why. WALL-E is just so incredibly good. I mean, just wow. I talked about this one in Best Animated Feature as well, and man, I don't know what else I can say, man. It's got strong environmental themes, near silent storytelling for the first half of the film, which is just beautiful. And I'll admit, whenever the human stuff like comes up and like Otto becomes like a big threat and the captain is a thing, whenever they get to the ship with all the humans, it gets a little iffy. But whenever like he has to reconnect with Eve and he remembers again, oh my god, dude, it's such a good moment. It's a little slower paced, sure, but it's got a clear message and it's got a lot of love behind it. I really like the scene where WALL-E is like showing Eve his home and like the musical that's playing, which I can't remember the name, but the name of it is that one. Like it's a love story, and the part that they're playing on the like TV in WALL-E's home is the part where they're dancing, and it's like a romantic scene. It defines WALL-E's humanity and how he's got such a connection to humans, and he has such a love for their lives that he could never have. This is just a visual masterpiece, dude. This movie is just so good. And it's got good environmental themes that, again, we should probably start taking care of the planet. Because this came out in what, 2007, 2008? Hey, we are on a bad track right now. Let's start getting the environment better. Let's start doing better. Start recycling more. How about that? Anyway, WALL-E is really good.
Yeah. Sure, step aside, kid. We're in a...
I have no idea how badly I wanted to put this at number 2. I really did, but I couldn't justify it being at number 2 considering the top 2 movies. But Monsters Inc. at number 3 is nothing to sneeze at, man. Oh my god, talk about a near perfect movie. I just watched this last night and dude, I had so much fun with it. It is such a good film, dude. I could go on and on about it. It's got a really strong emotional core with memorable characters like Mike and Sully and Randall, Boo, Mr. Waternoose. It's just a really good... Oh, also Roz. I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching. I mean, the third act is a little conventional. Whatever, I don't care. It's a good movie. I don't have that much to say about it that's negative. It's like continuity errors, that's it. There's not a lot of those either. That's something that you would find on like CinemaSins. Like they would like, you know, Johnny's wearing a red shirt in this scene, but then he walks out of the building and he's wearing a blue shirt. What's that all about? Something like that, you know. Those are the only type of issues I could possibly imagine, and that's something you find on CinemaSins. So I don't have I got no negative things to say about this movie. I really like where Sully confronts Waternoose, confronting the big CEO, which, by the way, how ahead of the game were they on evil CEOs? We got a lot of those. I really wish we could do to them what they did to Mr. Waternoose in Monsters University, which was lock his ass up. Moral courage over fear every time, and I'm really glad that he was able to stand up to him. And I love how they get him to say, "I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die." And it's like, it frames him up really good. Also, whenever Sully puts Boo back into her bed and like leaves, dude, the emotions. Oh my god, I can feel the pain. And the scene where they go through the door factory, like trying to get Boo home, but Randall's chasing them. What a great and imaginative scene. Oh my god, dude, it's so good. It's so action-packed, and I felt tense. I knew what the ending was, and I still felt tense while we were rewatching it. I can't talk, it's so good. This movie balances humor and heart extremely well, and I will rewatch it again probably very soon. It's just, this is one of the greatest movies. It's so good. I did this, so now I gotta do the Italian accent. Going back to Luca. It's so good. Monsters Inc. It's so good. I don't know why you guys watch me.
You thought you made a friend, Baguette!
Like I said, I really wanted to put Monsters Inc. at number 2, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't put it over this film. Ratatouille is just something special, man. Something so incredibly special. I mean, man, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? This is just like the most ambitious film that Pixar ever did. I would even argue this is the most ambitious film that Disney ever did. I almost said DreamWorks. Such a silly premise. A rat who really wants to cook. How silly is that? Imagine Illumination with that concept. They would make it the most silly thing in the world with all types of slapstick. But Pixar saw that concept and said, no, we're going to make this a refined experience for the viewer. They absolutely nailed it. It celebrates creativity and artistic ambition and the dreamers of the world. Feeling like the world is against you. You can't do it. You should just give up. But something in you is telling you you shouldn't. And that is just so beautiful. Whether it's your internal monologue and your internal voice, or if it's some chef that you admire who passed away from heartbreak, probably a heart attack, but you know, still, it tells you that you can do it. Regardless of your situation. If you want to do something, go for it, and you can do it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's got a little bit of a niche appeal, you know, like slightly. I watched it as a kid. I'm like, that's fine. That's a good movie. I want to go back to watching Cars because I'm a dumbass. But now I watch it as an adult. I rewatch it and just like, I'm just blown away by the sheer presentation of creativity and authenticity. This is one of those films that's hard to put into words. I will say about 2 scenes this time that really get me. 2 scenes. First one, Remy takes a strawberry and a piece of cheese, I believe. Should probably look that up before I say it. Yeah, it's a strawberry and a piece of cheese. He mixes them together, and as he does, he realizes how good it is, and swirls and colors go all around him, and it's a perfect representation visually of an artist truly taking 2 separate things and making them one, and realizing how genius it is and how amazing it is, and that spark of creativity and imagination. I don't think there's any other way to portray it that's as good as this. This is the mark of a true artist, a true chef, a true dreamer. Not to mention one of the most powerful scenes in all of Pixar. One that actually got turned into a meme a little bit, but disregard that. Ego tasting Remy's Ratatouille. And he gets brought back to a flashback, to a memory of when he was a young boy and he scraped his knee or something like that. He got hurt. He went inside upset, and his mother made him that exact same dish, and he loved it. And it took him right back to that moment when he tasted it. And he realized, this is good. This is something worth trying and something worth writing about. This is just showing how something so simple as a dish of food can bring someone back to a core memory that they've forgotten from a long time ago. This movie portrays imagination, creativity, determination, memory, and just artistry visualized perfectly. This is Pixar at its most refined and sophisticated. And I don't know how they could possibly top this movie, except they did about 3 years earlier.
This right here is my favorite thing ever in the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake not sleeping because I'm thinking about this.
Talk about a damn near perfect movie. At number 1, we have The Incredibles. I rewatched this. Nothing bad. I've got no complaints. No cons that matter. Only pros. This is Brad Bird at his top tier best. This is Pixar at its best. Disney at its best. Superhero movies at its best. If it wasn't for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I would say that this is the best superhero film ever. Including every Spider-Man movie, every Avengers movie, every DC movie especially. The Incredibles is just so incredibly good. Pun kind of intended, but also not really, because I'm being so genuine when I say this movie does the impossible with being as great as it is. It's got complex themes, perfect pacing, good jokes, great characters, an amazing balance between family and superhero drama. It's got a tight script, amazing theme, and of course it introduces us to Frozone. Honey, where's my super suit? Not even to mention the villain, Syndrome, best Pixar villain, top tier villain. I mean, you watch the movie and you're like, oh, that kid at the beginning, he's just some fan. He's just some fan to help build up Mr. Incredible's character. He's not gonna matter that much. Boom, he's the twist villain. He becomes a millionaire, inventing technology, and Mr. Incredible's oversight causes Syndrome to be a threat to him and his family. He almost kills his family in a plane explosion. I mean, what? Like, that's not just a small thing. Syndrome's got Mr. Incredible trapped with no escape, and he sends jets out to take out the plane that has his wife and kids on it. And he does not give a damn. And Mr. Incredible is broken when he realizes his family is dead. He thinks everything he had is now gone. Of course, it ends up they're alive, and they end up coming together to fight as a family, which is an amazing, bone-chilling, just spectacular scene. But we can't forget the key scene of this film. where Mr. Incredible finds Syndrome's computer. Puts in the password and he goes to the superheroes that have been eliminated by Syndrome. And one by one, it goes through the list of all the supers that Syndrome killed just to get to Mr. Incredible. Showing the amount of people he sacrificed just to get his revenge on this guy that mistreated him when he was a fan. No words, just implications. Forcing Bob to confront the consequences of what he had done when he had ignored this clearly gifted child that he could have utilized. They could have been a team, him, Frozone, and Syndrome. They could have been a team. But no. Bob made the mistake of tossing him to the side despite his clear innovative skills. And it costs him and a bunch of people their lives. This is Pixar's most complete film. It's confident, it's mature, it's good for kids and adults. As a kid, I knew it was special, and as an adult, I feel it's even more special now. And I've got nothing else I could say about this film that does it justice, man. This is just as close to perfect as a movie can get. And I am so unbelievably happy that it exists. Because if I ever see a bad Pixar movie, like if that new Hopper movie is bad, I could just come back and watch The Incredibles. If I watch The Good Dinosaur, I can come back and watch The Incredibles. If I watch any Pixar movie, I could watch The Incredibles and I could walk away happy. Because The Incredibles is the greatest Pixar film known to date and probably will be for, at the very least, a long time. All right. That's my ranking of all 29 Pixar movies. I will be sure to see Hoppers when it comes out and let you know where I would put it and make it an even 30 Pixar films. But yeah, that's my ranking, and I fully stand behind most of this. Some of these I might have placed a little bit higher or lower. Like Lightyear, I might have placed it a little bit higher. The Good Dinosaur, I probably would have put a little bit lower. These are all subject to change. I love Pixar. As much as I resent Disney, I love Disney. I love DreamWorks. I love animation. Animation can do what no other form of media can do, and that's tell a story in a way that only animation could. I know there are some really bad animated films. People say the Emoji Movie, I haven't seen it and I will not watch it, but people say the Emoji Movie is a terrible movie. The Good Dinosaur, terrible movie. Cars 2, terrible movie. Shrek the Third, terrible movie. But who cares? Because there's The Incredibles. There's Ratatouille, there's WALL-E, there's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, there's Fantastic Mr. Fox, there's Spirited Away. There's films that just balance it, and I love Pixar. I'm so glad that I could go through and rank every single Pixar film after watching all of them, and I'm glad that I get to just say I did this. I'd love to know what your ranking is. Like I said at the beginning of the video, please let me know what your ranking is. Whether some things are higher or lower than mine, whether it's completely different or similar to mine, I don't care. I just want to see it because I love seeing people's opinions because it might offer me a new perspective that I hadn't quite considered before. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it. I had a lot of fun making this and pre-watching all the Pixar movies, mostly. Let me know what studio you would love me to go through next. And do not say Disney, because I don't think I could handle that. It's going to be like a 500-hour long video if I were to do that. But I'd love to go through studios and check out other like studio films and seeing how their catalog stacks up against each other. But yeah, I am very happy with my placement. And some things might change in the future. Some things might get higher or lower. But yeah, I'm really proud that I was able to do this. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment down below what you think about the rankings. Agree, disagree, or don't give a damn. I'm fine with it either way. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later. But real quick before I go, I have a fun little announcement for you guys. As you might know, I'm an author, and I have written 3 books. Get Home Safe, Bonnie Lass, and On the Ropes. And I have added a new one, and that is Northern Call. Northern Call is an epic Viking tale about a young boy who has to learn how to become a man. And it's one of my all-time favorites that I've made. It's a bit thicker than my other books, and it's got a very funny picture of some dumbass on it right there. You can see that right there. Take a look at that. I'm very happy with this book, and it's been very fun writing it, and I really would like to encourage you to check it out. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. If you like Viking stories, this is good for you. If you like pirate stories, Bonnie Lass is good for you. If you like boxing stories or like sports stories or prison stories, On the Ropes is good. So be sure to check out the books. Even if you don't buy them, just check them out. I would really appreciate it. I put a lot of time and effort into these books, and I'm very proud of what I've done and what I've been able to do. So if you do, thank you very much for checking them out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, and ka-chow. There we go. Ka-chow. All right, end the video there. Why don't you end the video? End it. End it right. Knowing me, I'm going to end up cutting myself off with the...